Hello everyone, this is the V-Man and welcome. Today in GT Sport I will show you a couple of races I had last week, and I wanted to show you what happens when you mix oval racing and bad penalty system in GT Sport. So we are back on Blue Moon Speedway. From time to time we have this track, and it's good change from tracks on which we are racing most of the time and which are not oval. Interesting track, potentially can be a lot of fun to race here, but we need to do whatever we can to stay out of the trouble. As I said, potentially very fun, but also potentially very dangerous, especially for driver and sportsmanship rating. I've set a very good lap time here. On first race I started in front, and I knew that I will not stay in lead for too long because of the slipstream that the other guys will be using, and those cars will go in front of me very soon. And point of the racing here is to use the slipstream of the cars in front of you and to set your tempo in a way that you need to be very close to them, and then just before the end of the race to try to overtake them. Of course that is a lot easier to say than to do, or a lot easier said than done, but then we will try. Of course luck is one more thing we need to count on. I was expecting good result as always, especially because I've set a good qualifying time, and at the start of the 7th lap here we are all close, exchanging positions and going into the 7th lap, into the first corner. And look at this car on my left behind me. We are going into the corner, we barely touched each other, barely, and I was given a 1 second penalty. During this race in particular I had a lot of contacts which were way more harder than this one, but penalty system decided to punish me once again for nothing. So I continued with the race, served my penalty, and let's see what can I do in some other race, because here I finished on a 12th position. Not much to be said, let's have another one. So second race, again I started on a first position, expecting good result and some more luck this time. We are sprinting towards the first corner, and going into the first corner I had somewhat bad exit, but nevertheless guy behind me would catch up with me either way. I was trying to defend my position here, going onto the left side of the track, but the Spanish guy has a little bit more speed than I do, so he went through into the fast corner. I'm trying to use Spanish slipstream, but the German and Austrian guy were very close and they went through. Little bit of bumping, and I am on a 4th position now. So I am using slipstream now, going into the first corner, and all round destruction. So bumping, crashing, smashing. As you can see I was pushed on the wall. Penalties were given, but not for me this time luckily, and I dropped on a 10th position, so I was losing positions fast. I will try to go behind the cars, behind them, and to use their slipstream. Maybe I can save something, but I don't know. So we are now going into the 3rd lap, first corner. I wanted to try something I was doing when I was practicing. By the way, smashing the wall on this exact place will give you faster lap time than to go clean to the first corner, believe it or not. And I tried just that, but it seems that the penalty system is more sensitive during the race itself, so I quickly regretted the attempt because, as you can see, I was awarded 5 second penalty. Next lap, small touch and another one. I served that one too. So we are now going into the 7th lap. I thought that I missed a place where to smack last time, and I did it again, and now another one. Once again I was given a 5 second penalty, and now I knew that the penalty system is more sensitive during the race itself, so I'm not going to try that again. And let's have another one. This time I started on a 2nd position, and maybe I can use that in my advantage to use a slipstream and not to allow cars from behind to come close, but let's see. Going to the first corner, everything went well, I was satisfied with that. No crashing and stuff, things were going as planned. I was catching up with the car in front of me. using a slipstream. Of course, you can see how my speed is increasing. Now I will go for a move on his left side. So far so good, out of the corner, so everything was going as planned. As I said, I'm going a little bit defensive now onto the left side. Nothing special was happening. We were exchanging positions after every straight almost, and now we are going into the 4th lap. Into the first corner, and again Destruction Derby initiated. I was pushed into the wall, stopped almost completely, and lost a ton of positions. And 1 lap later, again I'm using a slipstream. I'm catching up with the guys in front of me. Some of them were serving penalties, so I went few positions up. As you can see, I'm behind them, but I wasn't able to overtake any positions. And going on the end of the 7th lap, I was going really fast. I'm using slipstream now, my speed is increasing. Into the corner, didn't want it to lift off, I went into the middle. Couple of nudges here and there, nothing more severe than in previous situation, and
another one.
I served it, and I finished 13th. So no luck for me on a Blue Moon Speedway this week or today. So because I'm a persistent guy, I wanted to have one more try. Maybe I will finally have a good result. The 4th race, again in front, on 1st position, same distance, same thing, into the 1st corner. Everything went well again, but don't be fooled, you saw what I went through. 1st lap was going well so far, nobody was attacking me yet. So we are about to go into the 2nd lap. And as we go into the 2nd lap, again we started to exchange positions. And it was all the same until the 5th lap, and going into the 6th, into the 1st lap. A small nudge, tiny, really tiny, and
another one.
I served that one and eventually finished in 4th position. So what can I say? Result from this race was the best from all attempts, and I decided I had enough for today. So I went to search for some counsel for anger management, and now I'm okay. I was out of town after that. Of course, I was relaxing a couple of days, forgot about the GT Sport, and come Sunday I came home and wanted to have a go in FIA manufactured race with a Mazda. I chose Mazda because it is not that popular and I wanted to try it. And let's go straight into the race. After decent qualifying, I started 5th here. Nürburgring GP, 15 laps. Again, we have the requirement to use all compounds of tires. I started on soft. Pretty soon I realized that Mazda is quickly eating through tires and I was pushed. But
another one.
The nightmare continues. In this moment I am AA rated driver. I knew that these guys are not going to be the most careful one, but I was hoping to have a clean race. But during this week it was almost impossible. It's just that kind of week where everything is going sideways. So after a couple of laps I decided to change my tires for medium ones, for fresh medium ones. I did that and I am back on a track on 7th position. So let's try to settle down and to have a decent second stint. That was my plan. Couple of corners later I started to battle with this yellow Nissan. It's a very fast car, we all know that, but I'm on a fresh tire, so I will try to capitalize that. Into the last corner of 4th lap, now we are going over the start-finish straight. I'm using slipstream. He is going a bit defensive, and one guy was exiting pits. So Nissan cuts in front of me. I almost smashed into him. Thankfully that didn't happen. So three of us are now fighting for a position. Mercedes, Nissan and Mazda. Going into the next corner, I went a bit wide. Then Mercedes and Nissan went wide. So I'm still close, trying to find my way through. I'm all over the Nissan, very close racing. He's careful going out of the corners. His tires are probably close to being dead, and I'm trying, still very close. Here I had a better exit. I'm on his right side now. No, trying on the left, no, and we are going into the sharp corner onto the right on the braking, and I nudged him a bit, I admit, but I am on a faster pace. So I decided not to lift off and to let him through, but the justice will be served soon enough. Trust me on that, you will see. So eventually I went in front of him on 6th position, not bad so far, and here to the chicane I went a bit off the track, 0.5 second penalty, not that bad, served it. So I'm now on 5th position. Couple of corners later, Czech guy was really close, and now I will try to defend my position. We are now side by side, almost going into the chicane. I was careful, leaving him space. He was really careful. That was some nice driving. A little bit of oversteering, exiting the corner into the last turn. He tried the undercut move here, but I had a better exit, and going over the start finishing straight again, one guy was going out of the pits. So we are looking out for him, watching out not to make a mistake. Czech guy made a mistake on braking. I saw that. I was waiting for him to go through and to undercut, and I bumped into him, and
Another one.
I don't know what to say. As I said, nightmare continues. After I served my penalty, I again went into the pits at the end of the 7th lap and changed my tires for fresh hard ones. No matter how hard I tried to be clean, to drive clean and to stay out of the trouble found me throughout the entire week of racing. Of course, I knew that on the Blue Moon Speedway things are not going to be easy, but I wasn't expecting that catastrophe you saw, and here was the same thing. What could I do than to keep my head down and my blood pressure down, also to stay cool-headed and to finish the race on a best position possible. But I'm not a robot, I'm just a human with emotions, so I was pretty pissed off after all of this, and I couldn't calm myself fast enough, and naturally I started to make mistakes, silly mistakes. Soon enough I was under attack from 911. I was defending myself as best as I can, but that wasn't enough, and I went one more position down after I made a mistake going out of the corner. So 911 was able to sneak up to me on my left side. You will see that soon enough. There you go. So he's now in front of me, and a couple of corners later, again I wanted too much going to the chicane, and again I was awarded with a 0.5 second penalty. Going to the chicane 9th time, I overbraked myself, wanted to cut through corners slowly, but the game returned me on track, and a couple of more cars closed down the gap. Mercedes was on my right going into the last corner of the 9th lap, and going into the 10th lap, remember that yellow Nissan that I nudged a bit into sharp corner? Well, he's now behind me, and I'm going to serve my penalty, and he will be in opportunity to attack me and maybe to go one more position up, and justice will be served maybe by he doing that. So I have a 1.5 second penalty to serve, and I will serve it soon enough, but still myself and Nissan will meet again. 4 laps until the end, 4.5 laps until the end. Things settled down a bit, but two guys in next couple of corners went off the track into the sand, so I'm taking advantage of that. I'm back on a 9th position. There is that moment. We are now going into the 13th lap, and no, the justice wasn't served with that yellow Nissan. He's again behind me and going into the same corner as when I bumped into him. He bumped into me now, but not once, but twice or maybe 3 times, and you will see that soon enough. So here we go into the corner. He bumped into me once, then twice, and here maybe 3rd time, I don't know, and he went in front of me, and we can say now that justice is served. One more guy went for a move and I blocked him. That is a legit move, nothing wrong there. Few corners later, he was faster exiting the turn. I'm driving defensively, trying to stay on my position, but he was already in front of me, so there is not much I could do than to give up my position. Tires are close to be clinically dead, but I'm managing somehow. I must be very careful. Car is becoming unstable, goes easily into both understeer and oversteer, and I lack experience in these kind of races. You already know that, but I'm trying to build it so I can be more competitive in future races. I'm trying to build my experience. I was a bit pushed here. Guy was awarded with a 0.5 second penalty, but even after he served it, I wasn't close enough for the move. You will see that soon enough. So you can see my tires are pretty much dead, and here guy in front of me went off the track, so I returned to 11th position to the chicane. I couldn't go slower than this, and still I almost spun out and lost one more position. I mean, terrible week, terrible races, terrible situations on the track. What can I say? We are going now into the 15th and the final lap, trying to survive and to stay on the track. Tires are dead now, so we are going really slow to the first corner, first turn. Lexus is probably on fresher tires and he overtook my position, and now I'm on a 13th position, and eventually I finished here. What can be said? You saw it all, what happened. I tried to have a good result, but it was just not my week. Maybe the next one will be better. That is all for today. If you like this video, click the like button. If you would like to watch or to listen some more, do subscribe. Turn your notifications on, feel free to comment. I would like to hear from you. You can also check my Facebook page, link is in the description. Thanks for watching, have a great day, see you next time. The V-Man is out.